Who's right? You know, duality is the sense of right, wrong, right? Good, bad, right, wrong. So who's right? How can how can everybody possibly be right? You just be with that. How could everyone possibly be right? Especially if your roots have been a right or a wrong. As we awaken to this multidimensional universe that's always been going on, yet our point of reference has been pretty much duality. What, yeah, right or wrong, whichever side it is. And, even masculine and feminine, everything has been dual. So when you come back to this essence, if you truly believe that there is God, creator, source, consciousness, oneness, this oneness is oneness. Source is source. This is the work I do with people, is like, so many people are still talking about themselves and their world as if they're separate. And you're going, like, of course it's separate. That person's separate from me. Well, that's how it's being perceived, right? You're perceiving that other person is separate from you. I was saying to someone yesterday, how can I be angry at myself, right? I have done that, right? I've done that. You can feel that within yourself when you're like, oh, why did I do that, right? Why did I do that? How did I do that? Well, I've also had that experience with another person where that other person's I've seen as completely separate from me. And I'm thinking, how could you have done that to me? How could you have done that to me? And then as I've healed within myself, I've released the belief systems, I've become more in line with source consciousness, this oneness. I recognize that the truth that I'm experiencing here, based on what I'm seeing out there, is really an inner reflection, right? Right? Is it right? You're like, no, 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 it's not right. So even that word, I've used that right. I got trained. You just say, isn't it right? Isn't it right? Isn't it correct? Does it agree with it? Do you resonate with it? New words change the idea. So do you resonate with what I'm saying? No. And that's okay if that's a no, because that's where you're at. And each of us is in that space and place perspective around the circle, right? Each of us has our own perception. Each of us has interactions with others. Each of us has relationships with others. Each of us sees clouds differently, like seeing shapes differently. Remember that as a kid, you'd look at the cloud and you go, I see this, I see that. And when I can appreciate that everyone has a different perspective, then I am able to stay calm and I'm able to stay in the presence and appreciate. Sometimes I can experience the subtle differences. I can experience their grief a little bit, or their anger, or and I can sense that, and it's just like, okay, like let's like, in a sense, rise. The cream rises to the top. Let it rise up and release it, and let me hold this space of unity. And as I see unity, I see global transformation. I see that the world is shifting from a fear-based consciousness, from oh, I need to do this in order to get that, right? I need to get good grades to get good school. I need to, make my bed in order for my mom to be happy. I need to say the right thing in order to, be accepted. I need to wear this. I need to do something to get this. So many people now, that's what they have been experiencing in this shift from normal to new normal to what's natural. From my perspective, is where we're really heading. What's natural is to realize that I am the center of my universe, and I am the co-creator of the experience, and I am source consciousness. So my perception is my world. And just as social media has trained us that you can have a YouTube channel, a Facebook page, and a social media, and a Rumble, you can have every different social media profile the way you want to have it. That's the perception that you have of the world. Your world is different. So even though right now it's seeming that we're all experiencing the pandemic, every single person in every single country is still having a different experience. There are people that you can talk to that will say it has had like barely nothing to do with their life because they've already been essentially off grid, right? They've already removed themselves from this system of how you're supposed to, should live your life. And from a variety of different degrees. It could have been environmentally off grid. It could have been they're already growing their own food. It could have been that they've moved up north. It could have been, they live on a boat. There's all kinds of ways that people have already removed. They've stopped shopping at all the big stores. They've stopped socializing. They stopped, being out in the entertainment world. They've stopped listening to the media. So their experience has been completely different. I did meet a woman here that, although her physical experience, her day-to-day life never changed. What did change in her day-to-day life is the narrative that went on. And she realized she was being suffocated by the constant conversation about dun, dun, dun. Okay? And it's about people all consumed with one conversation. And so she goes on social media, she sees it, she listens to the news, she hears it. And she's like, that has been suffocating her. Then she's turned around and said, well, it is my fault because I'm listening to it. And that's what happens when you're in an abusive situation, is you're inundated, let's say, with negativity, and you're in there for a reason. You're in there because you're like, well, this is where I feel guided to be. This is the best place I'm supposed to be. But you're still being inundated with all this conversation that makes your body feel uncomfortable. And so she was realizing that, and I was like, when you're in that situation, when somebody's abusing you and hitting you over the head all the time, and figuratively or with words, saying, oh, you're not good enough. You just don't know any better. You're so stupid, right? You should know better. Get educated. Like these loving, guided people that call other people COVID idiots, and they think, oh, I'm so loving and kind, I went and got the vaccine for greater humanity, and I'm going to call you a COVID idiot. Well, those two don't go hand in hand. My hands are in hand. I respect every single person, whatever choice they make, because it's their body, their choice, their life. I have zero idea what their life experience is supposed to be about, because I do know it's multidimensional. I do know that there's way more than this one experience. There's many experiences happening at the same time, just like many, time zones in our world. Like the lunar eclipse has already happened in Australia, right? It's already done. People are having the experience, but it's daylight over here, different experience in different dimensions, time jumping, like there's all kinds of things that you don't know. And that's life. And when you can be in unity and just say, okay, I bothers me inside, it's bothering me, right? It's boiling my blood, whatever it is. I'm feeling so angry. That's the opportunity for each of us to find out what's going on inside us. Why are we so angry, right? Why am I so angry? Gosh, I'm so angry because it just seems that that's so stupid what they're doing, right? Maybe that's what those people think that call other people COVID idiots. They're just so stupid. Why don't they get it? Well, the other point, a perspective, is saying, the same thing. Why don't you get it? You're so stupid. Why don't you get it? Well, both parties over here are having the same experience, but their perception of what the other is doing, they're still making wrong. And what if each of them are actually right for each of them? That they need to have that perspective. Oh, I can't believe they're doing it so wrong. What they're doing is so wrong. What they're doing is so wrong, right? And that's the inside of how attached they are to right and wrong. With perfectionist father. So, there was a right way to do everything. And the last Father's Day, I said to him, I'm who I am because of who you are. Because you only saw one side of the coin. And I've lived both sides of the coin. And now I am being the coin incorporating both sides. That's my experience. And it's a journey that in a lot of ways, like many have had their own journeys, their own traumatic experiences, their own experiences that are good or bad, that label. But who I am now is based on everything I had in the experience. It's like meeting Dylan and Nada. They were babies in Rwanda. What they went through is when the genocide happened, like it's nothing. It pales in comparison to what anybody is experiencing now with the verbal backlash here on whatever side you're perceiving you're on, if you're still on a side. So unity and oneness starts within here, and coming to peace and knowing how you're to be in that moment. Sometimes you do need to be angry. Sometimes you do need to put your fist down and say, do you get this? Because that's what you're being guided to do. But honor that it's your emotion, it's your feeling. Right? I am feeling very frustrated that you are saying this, right? It's different than saying you are wrong. I am feeling very angry that you in Toronto set up a pop-up clinic for just total disbelief for 12-year-olds to go get an inoculation and get an ice cream. It's like I knew never to go to somebody that was offering me ice cream when I was a kid, and to have police guarding them. It's just like, to me, it's like, wow, that seems completely insane to me. It's unbelievable that that could even happen. But I trust that it must be happening for a reason, to so-called wake people up from what they think is okay in their world. For those that have come from other countries to Canada, they go, don't you get what's going on? That your freedoms are being taken away, right? You are being coerced. Well, we've been being coerced all along. We've been fundamentally led through education of how to live our lives. And those that never wanted to follow that system, that felt from a young kid, they were ostracized in many different ways. They were the black sheep, the rebel. They were the kid that was out of sorts. They were the lost soul, But they now are the ones that are going, I told you so. I knew that from the time I was 6. The world didn't make sense. So if we can just come to this perspective that you, me, each of us are the center of our own universe, and we're having our own experience. And if you like the way you're feeling and you like your experience, then that's awesome. If you are feeling bothered by your experience, if you're feeling very frustrated, then take that opportunity to look within and feel what you need to be guided to do. Because trusting that you are source consciousness, that you are part of this overall experience, is trusting that source consciousness knows actually what it's doing in taking us from this multidimensional fear earth, transcending up into this awakened 5D, that's what they call it, awakened freedom space. We need to co-create new ways of being, because the old ways are doing. It's like transformation. You can't just transform yourself, have all these people that have been transforming themselves for the last 30 years and doing all this inner work and releasing all this stuff, and the world still being the same. So all of us that have been doing this work for 30 years are like, hallelujah, praise God. This is, thankfully, woo, this is it. Doing it and being fully present and conscious of how you are co-creating every aspect of your life, and knowing that you have health, and really embodying, what does that mean if I'm going to be healthy for myself without being in a system, or having income come to me myself without being in a system? These are all things that are also breaking down. Where you are in the dimension, in the cycle, in the spiral, if you're spiraling up, you're up here, it continues. So you have a different way to look at it each day. And that's what I just want you to consider. Consider that everyone actually is right for where they are in this moment in time. And if you start to allow that, then you maybe stop pointing a finger at them and notice that 3 fingers are pointing back at you and saying, okay, what do I need to learn about this situation, right? What am I feeling? I just need to release this and be forthright and say, are you aware? This is what I'm experiencing. Do you see that? No, I don't see that at all, right? And find unity, find a place to meet, find this heart-to-heart connection, nonviolent communication, right? 10 minutes is usually the thing. When you can find what each person needs, you can find unity within about 10 minutes. But if you never know what the other person needs, the other person wants security and they're thinking getting an injection is security, then that's what they want. And if the other person thinking security is not getting the injection, then, then right now it's all about the injection. But it's really finding out what they need. The need is security. What's going to make them feel secure? So there's much more depth relating to that conversation. And when we find that space, that depth, then we open up a new dialogue, we open up a new space, and we find new ways of being, and we're co-creating. And again, we're respecting that other people have different perceptions, because it is multidimensional. It's so much more is going on than this one experience. So someone else could be like the little born chickadee, right? And you could be the wise old Gandalf that's been here for centuries through many different experiences. The two are going to be completely different. It's like the kid in kindergarten has a different experience than the person that's PhD. In some cases, the kid in kindergarten has an awareness that the person in the PhD has totally forgotten, right? So when we kind of blend that all in and we start to find the unifying space, we find love. And that's what law is. Love always wins. And now we each are experiencing the journey of the transformation. From caterpillar to butterfly, from fear to freedom. The world is breaking free. Queen, I want to break free. That's it. Go for it. Enjoy your beautiful day. Love always.